Whoa. So, oh man, did I hack that up? I actually practiced it too, and I hacked it to hell. So you thought you could tell, Matt. Heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell, Matt? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees? What is it? Warm air for a cooled breeze? Did you exchange the walk-on part in a war for a lead role in a cage, Matt? I say all of that
because Pink Floyd got canceled.
Because cancer culture that's what it is. It's cancer culture, not cancel culture. Ends Pink Floyd singers tour after he spoke. Even the headline's wrong. He didn't speak badly about Ukraine. He said, why isn't anybody pushing for peace talks? Can't we all just do a bong? I think is what he was saying, and get along. Matt, speaking of cancel culture, let's go right to the tweets, because now supposedly in Ukraine, the fine yarmulke wearing Jewish folks can't go into the grocery store, and at our ultra woke university, Berkeley, develops Jewish free zones. Matt, there's a lot moving around here, a lot of moving parts. And Zelensky, and here's another thing too. Zelensky rules out negotiations after Vladimir Putin called for peace talks. Vladimir put on some Pink Floyd, said, you know what? Let's do some peace talks. Again, Matt, the elections in the eastern regions have finished. 80 to 85% voting to be independent and or more closely aligned with Russia. And also Zelensky applied for NATO, I guess you were saying, and NATO said, no, thank you.
There was this really creepy signing ceremony with these two big thugs, whoever they are, but they were standing like with military fatigues next to them. I wish I had it right here. Otherwise I'd show it to you because it was short. He signs it and he says something in his native tongue, and it's like 45 seconds, the bit I saw. And then I don't know, just about a half an hour ago, it says NATO denied the application. So
I mean,
honestly though, like I was lying. I was thinking about it. I was just going, North American Treaty Organization. What is Ukraine?
North Atlantic.
Excuse me, North Atlantic. What does Ukraine have to do with the Atlantic?
Well, it's somehow, some
the
way.
Whole thing. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Right, exactly.
And
I am too.
On another note, we sent another 12 billion, right, to the military industrial complex, I guess. And in the meantime, Florida's completely underwater of 100 billion. So why don't you go help them? Why don't you take care of your own shit? As I always like to say, like I have this problem with charitable organizations.
Well, first of all, they take most of the money before
they do. Right, they do. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, why do we have to send money for a failed war that continues to fail? It's been failing for 9 months now. Like, who cares? It's done. No, and it's over. And it's over. What Putin wanted is now over. So again, if you had somebody like Trump, this would have never started. First of all, because his son wasn't involved with labs and all kinds of shit in Ukraine like Joe Biden was.
All right, let's talk prices, because the market does not seem to give a shit one way or another. Whether
the market doesn't give a shit. Period. It's flat today. It's dead.
Yeah, it was a good trading market today, though.
Yes, if you had the ranges, which,
Yeah.
36.30, 36.85 in the spoos, yes, those were the ranges. It's not very wide. It's okay. Yeah. But there was some, we had some earnings starting to come out. And the first big miss actually wasn't a miss, but was Nike. And
Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up because
Nike
it
fell out
didn't
of bed.
miss. The bad news was in the forward thinking on this, correct?
Correct. They actually beat on their earnings. As you can see, they beat, but what the bad news was the increase in inventory, 44% increase in inventory, Bob.
44%. I ran a food truck at one point, and that is not good.
Think about that for a little bit. That's not a good number. So again, they reported 12.6. They expected 12.2, 12.3, so they beat. But again, it was the inventory levels that kind of killed it. And then the other retail smash, which I'm surprised, we haven't talked about this name in a long time, but Rent-A-Center. Guess who gets hurt first? The poor, right? First of all, Rent-A-Center, what a horrible model. Just renting.
And Matt, actually, leaning on it should be illegal.
Yeah, correct.
Usury laws.
Yes, correct. I mean, first of all, how is this even allowed? You can go in and rent a table. I mean, go buy something at a garage sale. If you can't afford it, then get a job. But why are you renting a table and stuff at Rent-A-Center? I don't understand the model. But there's a lot of poor people in the world. And it's a crazy model. But this thing peaked, believe it or not, 67 July of last year. Today, Bob, it's 17 after getting throttled for 20% last night. Again, earnings horrible, horrendous. So there's one. Well, let's see. Are we below the COVID low there?
You tell me.
Well, I'm going to look. I don't know. Trying to bring it up. Everything is super slim. No, not quite. That was down here. That was down here at $11. But guess what? That's also where the point of control is, because that thing didn't really do anything from 16, 17, 18. Right? Didn't do anything. It was dead money. They got to come up with some NFTs. They got to rent some NFTs. I think, Bob. New model. Rent NFTs.
Rent an NFT. I love it. I love it.
Right.
I don't know where it's Friday, man. I'm done trading myself. I'm not really into this whole thing today. So you guide me today. How about that? Anything else jumping out at you?
Well, but the big game last night, I was right on half, but Tua got hurt again. Did you watch it? I didn't see it, but I guess
I saw the play, and
I heard he had another concussion, right?
Well, he got thrown down so hard, dude, that it's again bordering on manslaughter. I mean, you're not supposed to be able to WWF the guy, and that's what happened. I mean, he got absolutely slammed.
Gotcha. I did not see it.
Portnoy was freaking out. He's like, I'm gonna have nightmares about those fingers, because he had. And I guess there's a name for that when you have a head trauma that your fingers.
Well, but he also had that trauma in the week before, and he went right back.
Not even a week, dude. Right? It was like the.
Yeah, you're right. Sunday.
Sunday to Thursday. So
I think the bigger story, and that's kind of what I took from some of the headlines, is how does a guy like that even? How do you allow him to play and say he didn't? Because obviously, Bob, you saw him walk off. He was woozy. I saw it, and you saw him. That is not a back injury when you have like he was like that. So somebody effed up there in the NFL. The doctor.
I'll tell you what.
The doctor should be fired. Whoever the doctor is. I mean, and if he said something, he should speak out. He should speak out and say,
Not only the fact of the matter is you're 3-0, and you got Teddy Bridgewater, who's solid. You're on the road. Why not let the guy rest? I mean,
exactly.
It's a 17-game season.
Give him a break. Yes.
At some point, these NFL teams got to be thinking like a baseball team. Like, you need a roster. You gotta rest people. You got to play 2-3 deep just to keep everybody healthy.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's insane. Totally insane.
So anyways, I had the Bengals. I felt like even if Tua would have played, I think it would have been the same result, but it might have been more points for both teams. And
Yes,
so
you would
we
have.
were low.
And how
So-
amazing is that? I mean, if they score in the last possession, it goes over. It's unbelievable how close
Correct.
they are all the time.
Yeah. But that's why, that's why they call it gambling. There's no edge. There's no edge.
Gambling is passing gas at our age, Matt. That's gambling.
So let's look at a couple football games for the weekend since we got a little time here. And tonight we got I kind of like UCLA getting the points. Let me bring up the points on this because I'm not sure what it is. But UCLA is playing Washington tonight. That's the Friday game. That kind of looks interesting to me. I don't know anything about Houston Tulane. I don't know anything about Middle Tennessee State except they, beat. Who did they beat? They beat somebody last week. Somebody they shouldn't have. San Diego State, Boise State, yawn. But this Washington State UCLA game, UCLA is getting points in the Rose Bowl, which will be empty because nobody goes to the games in LA. So that will be empty.
All right, let's go over under on fans at the Rose Bowl. I'll make you. I still think 50,000 go. I'm gonna make you 50,000.
Okay, I'll
take the under.
I'll take the under on that. Yeah.
All right.
Well, maybe you'll get 20,000 Washington fans to travel down from Seattle. I don't know.
Lee, write it down. Over under.
Purdue, Minnesota is interesting. Minnesota again, no love there. Only 9.5 at home. Row the boat. Take the Gophers. I like that game a lot. Again, Kentucky, Ole Miss. Again, this is a good game. Minnesota, and actually Minnesota is 12 now. That was the opening line. Now it's 12. So, but I still like Minnesota. TCU and Oklahoma. TCU is getting points at home. Oklahoma's bad. I'm going to take TCU in that game again. No respect to the Christians of Texas.
The Horned Frogs.
No, the Texas Christian. The Christians of Texas, I prefer. And then, of course, the big game. Michigan is 11 over Iowa. Wow. I mean, the way we looked last week, good. That made the line lower. Iowa's defense is good. And and it's at Iowa, not an easy. And it's at Iowa. This is the trip up game for sure. Last week was a trip up game, and you know what? Maryland's going to win more than 50% of their games in the Big Ten, so that was not a bad win. No, I agree, man. They had some, and we were up 15 with a minute to go, so the garbage touchdown doesn't mean and we missed. We had turnovers. We should have won by 20, easy. All right, slow down. I'll push back hard on that as you were given a 7. I watched it from lead. Yeah, well, we were, and then we gave them 7 back, so that washed itself out. So it doesn't matter. So whatever you want to say. And then what else do I like? Michigan State again. Take Maryland. Maryland's going to whomp them. They're going to whomp Michigan State. They're giving 8, 7. All right, come on. Let's go with your. I think you got 4 teams right there. Big Ten 14 parlay. Yep. It's Minnesota, Michigan, Maryland, and I didn't say anything about the Michigan game. That one scared me. I said, okay, all right. So it's Minnesota, Maryland, Big Ten. Yeah, Minnesota, Maryland, and then I said Ole Miss against Kentucky, and I said TCU. So those were the games that I called out. All right, so let's write them down. Minnesota, Maryland, TCU, and was the 4th? Mississippi. Over Kentucky. All right, 14 parlay. And then you can go ahead and give your NFL picks since you're the NFL. Matt, do we have any 10 plus? Let's stick with that 10-point favorites in the NFL. Yep. Any 10-point favorites? I don't see any. No, well, there's one. Packers over Patriots. Yep. I think I like that actually. Yep. Packers over Patriots minus 10.5 up in the not frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Oh no, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous fall time of year to be there. Tailgates will be hopping. Sausages will be on the grill.
Sausages.
It's just this fantastic environment there at Lambeau. Been several times, probably been about 6 or 7 times.
So this market to me, again, feels like it's trying to put in a temporary bottom. Yeah, I think we're going to have it. I think we'll probably have the bottom in for the year by October 15th. That's just kind of how I see it. There's going to be some news, some piece, some rabbit out of the hat for Biden, maybe, and the UK pension continues to sell off assets in mass today, by the way. So,
and I read a couple of threads, Matt, that and let me push back on that, because I don't think the year low is in anytime soon.
Okay.
And let me share it from a standard deviation modeling. There it is. And this is the weekly in the SPOOs. If this I would have said if this double bottom held that you were probably right. But I don't know, man, with the potentials falling away and with what good news is going to come down the pike, I just don't see it.
Well, but it also,
I read threads that U.S. pension funds are having the same problem.
Yeah.
Man, I was trying to work this out in my head. So is the biggest reason why they have a problem is because they have pension obligations. So in general, they have to sell off assets to fulfill those pension obligations. And if those assets are worth way less,
yeah, it makes it even worse. Right.
It makes it even worse.
But the problem with the whole pension scheme, and I'll say, and I like using the word scheme like the Londoners do, because it is a scheme. It should be called a Ponzi scheme. Is they guarantee on a lot of these pensions 7% a year, right? Well, that might have been good when bonds were 10% in 1980,
right?
But you can't guarantee 7% anywhere in corporate bonds and anything AAA. There's nothing close. Well, now you can. Now you can get
you can get dividends from Altria.
You can get a mortgage for over 7% now. But that's the other way. Hold on.
That's what I just don't see how this just shakes out.
I understand what you're saying.
For instance, here, like the COVID thing, it took 4 months for that to settle out. Right now, you can say, well, if we put in the top, we're well past that. But for me, like this is more important here. Actually, no, these are weeks.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Again,
the COVID thing settled out in a month. Incredibly, it settled out.
I would like to see a rally back to 39.50 is all I'm saying. We're also holding here. I don't know why we're holding. Okay.
And the other thing that jumps out at me today too is the previous 2 weeks ranges were 300 plus points in the S&Ps, and this week's range is minute compared.
Yes.
So I don't
very
think
quiet. It's been very quiet, even though it's been, it's been a very.
I'm more to the point that I think next week we resume a bigger range.
Well, and again, I said by October 15th. So I'm not saying we're done yet, but I think by October 15th. So we may go lower the next 2 weeks, is what I'm saying.
I don't think so, dude. I think this just.
No, I just said we may go lower the next 2 weeks, is what I said, Bob.
End of the year. All the way to.
I mean, it looks like it. It looks like it. Trade what's in front of you. I mean, I agree. I'm not long, but I don't know. We're just so oversold. I mean, the quarter, month, week, everything on every reading, we're so oversold. And these,
Matt, that's an important. No matter what time frame you're looking at, when it's oversold, you just be patient. And if you never get the trade, you know what? There's another trade in another market.
And then but you see, here's the thing. Like yesterday, right? We had 2 days ago. Let me just bring this up. We had the huge moves in the SPOOs, right? We went up 140 points. I mean, that's huge. That's like almost 5% in one day. And that's kind of what you get on these counter trend rallies. You get a 5% rally. So you got it done and they sold off again because the news really wasn't good. I mean, there was no good news. This was all the UK bonkers stuff, right? And then we count, now we're right back into kind of the weekly balance. This is like the most traded price, right where we are, 36.50 on the SPOOs. NASDAQ, kind of the same thing. It's 325. We traded up to it. And now we pushed down again and we're sitting here at 200, but 200 keeps holding. So we're just in this big bracket mania. So yeah, we're not, and we've pushed down 1, 2, 3 times. And, and we're not going down. The bonds, rallied off that news and have held. They didn't go back down to lows. So you got to be careful. Again, this is not an easy market.
There is no doubt about
you know what
that.
This is a short-term traders market. That's all it is. You don't want, I'm not making big bets. I'm not saying the bottom's in. I'm not positioning myself for that. That's not what I'm saying here.
Okay.
That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is for a trade, it feels like in the next 2 weeks, because it's been 2 months again of us going down. August, it's now, we're through the 2 months. We peaked basically August 15th. So, we're almost there again. And October 15th, I'm just looking at a simple, kind of sine wave of activity. And then when you look at these bonds right here, again, that looks pretty solid. Again, you had a 7-handle move, yes, on that one day, 123 up to this is the ZB, but 123 up to 127. So that parlays into, let me bring up the UB also, UB40.
UB40, our favorite.
And,
letter number band.
This thing, it's just monster crusher, right? So yesterday, 133s, all today, we're again, another new high up to 140s. So that looks constructive.
You're right.
So
there's structure to the profile.
Correct. And so again, we kind of tipped down here to the 136 is over, yesterday, but now that 137 seems to be kind of holding, well above it now. And, this might, again, I'm not saying interest rates are going lower, but maybe they overshot for a little bit and maybe they have to rally back and work off the oversold and again, get back to, I don't know, where's an area that, let's look at a longer term. This is a daily chart. Again, we're out of value on a daily chart. So could we rally back to 155? Sure.
Right on.
And again, there'd be a battle there again. So, we're at, again, if you will look at a longer time frame like you like to do and go, but we're not trading this. So I don't disagree with your longer term charts, but the shorter term charts are saying, hey, we might need to snap some heads of retail shorts right now because they're getting too aggressive. And, that's just kind of how I see it.
All right, Matt. Everybody's working for the weekend.
Tesla,
Oh, that's what thank you for saying that.
Go ahead. Yep.
Yesterday's news was that Toyota said we have no plans of going all electric anytime in the foreseeable future. New York State followed California and said no gas vehicle sales after 2035. I wanted to look at Tesla versus Toyota. So let me
by the way, Apple
Toyota Nissan, is that what it is?
What? Toyota is TM.
It's what?
TM.
T one more time, Matt. I can't. I'm hard of hearing.
Tom Matt.
TM. Toyota Motor Corporation. Down almost 2% today. Oh, just falling away on the weekly. Just falling away. COVID lows.
Show us.
All right. COVID lows down here. Son of a billy goat. Come on. Share screen. There we go. Just falling away. COVID lows down here at 108.
We talked about this one at the start of the year. This was a short of the year, we said, Toyota Motors, if you'll recall.
108. I got to tell you, though, that
220,
between
cut in half already.
and I don't know. I mean, at 108, don't you have to take a stab? As that seems to be,
yeah.
I mean, it's been pretty sideways there.
Mm-hmm.
99 to 145 was the 10-year bracket.
right?
So
By the way,
but-
Apple just hit a new low on the move. Why don't you bring that up real quick? Let me see your long-term momentum, because we haven't talked about your momentum.
on Apple.
And the SPOOs or the NASDAQ is approaching lows of the day again. So that's fully reversed. The low this morning was about 60.
All right, interesting, Matt, here. Interesting. Apple now weekly, fully in low momentum. 147.97 is that momentum level.
Yep.
And the other nuance here is if they trade them lower next week, you're going to change the slope. And again, this one too actually has had a few bouts with negative slope, unlike the longer term, but for sure has not seen it. Forget about the COVID hiccup, right?
Yep.
Have not seen negative slope since 2016.
Uh-huh.
Let that sink in a little bit. I mean, a little bit here, kick save, double top. For me, this is a very scary chart to be long.
Yeah, dangerous. I don't care what it is.
Bada bing, bada boom. And then I just wanted to also point out Tesla compared to the Toyota chart.
Mm-hmm. You can
I
put
mean,
them on top.
Toyota's down here, right, in the chart.
Mm-hmm.
It's down here, getting towards this balance that it was in 10 years between 2013 and 2009. Tesla is still on the moon comparatively.
Oh yeah.
Has not recaptured low momentum on the weekly. That would be 252.69. And again, they close them below there this week, next week with a negative slope. There are so many things that are telling me Katie bar the door, and the bad news hasn't even hit yet. And somehow everything's been kick saved. And by the way, Matt, as we've shared in the network, the Fed hasn't even done anything with the QE. Nothing. That chart is still on the surface of the moon. Be careful out there. And I don't know about you, but I've been telling every single person I know that has equity exposure that you got to be doing something. You got to be proactive. You either got to be moving to cash or buying the triple short ETFs, whichever one you want. You got to start doing something, because I don't know. I think you got your head in the sand if you think that, first of all, if you think this chart is normal.
Hey, bring up the Qs. Speaking of, remember the bottom was in June? Oh, new low. Benzinga.
Qs again. This one already has a falling away potential. So this line in the sand doesn't hold. I don't know why the COVID lows wouldn't be reached over time. And it might be first quarter next year, second quarter next year.
No, I think I think that's kind of how I see it. I think I see again another bounce and then a rally, and then a sell down to I think that first quarter is going to be ugly.
Right.
Again, we have earnings coming, right? So earnings have started. So there's going to be probably a lot more of what we just saw with Nike. I mean, how can there not be?
Right, exactly. Hey, guess what? We did okay, but everybody's fired because there's nothing coming down.
There's no orders coming in.
Yeah,
inventories are piling up, so you guys got to go home for a while. Yeah, that's coming.
Work from home.
Work from home, but no money.
Yeah, we're not paying you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful weekend on tap here in Bend, Oregon, Matt. The most wonderful weather going on here. A little Indian summer, and we got some fall festivals to take part in. It's going to be fun. It always is. The fall in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
All right, that's what we got. Please join us at Market. Lee, anything else, Lee? Let's go to Lee.
They merged the Bend Fall Fest and Oktoberfest all into one weekend, so it should be double the fun, I guess.
Right on. Lee's all good. Beautiful. All right. MarketVitals.io is the community. MarketVitals is the stream. Thank you for watching. Please share it, retweet it, plagiarize if you like. Anything far and wide. Matt, I was so disappointed. Honest to God, how did I? That's better. That's what it was supposed to sound like on the way in. So you think you can tell? We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, Matt, year after year, running over the same old ground. Have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here. I'm voting for peace, Matt. Why don't we get some peace going? Give peace a chance. That's all we're saying.
Hey, Nasdaq is down 65, SPOO's down 18, and the Russell is green. So by 12 points.
It's all small caps.
All
small caps are so hot right now.
They're so hot. So hot. Hey, show us the RTY on your momentum longer term. We haven't looked at that in a long time.
The ruddy, as we leave, why wouldn't I? Hold on a second. It's super easy to do, you know.
No, I know.
I mean, it's called a chart. By the way, we're not sponsored by TradingView, Matt, which we should be. Both of us are giant TradingView fans. By the way, available in the network is the market profile script. So, but you got to join marketprofiles.io. Here's a different little, again, much like the QQQs running into this double bottom, but again, this is not a healthy looking chart. I don't care what you say. And Matt, why don't we, you know what, we can't do it here in the, but I just wanted to bring this up because the quarter is rolling, right? So let's go to the quarterly chart of insanity. Hold on, let me get rid of these, remove these lines. I don't know what they're doing there. Remove them. NASDAQ quarter, 10,575, but we got a positive slope to it still, right? And last quarter, Matt, was 10,023. So it's going to be 500 points or so higher, give or take, on the roll, which will put that at around 11,000 in the NASDAQ. Momentum on a quarterly has been in up momentum since Jesus broke bread, seemingly since January of 12. 11,000, Matt, 11,000. What else do you got there in the NASDAQ? 11,000 on the quarterly, because you got to pay attention to these things. SPOOs, 3444 with the slope of
it's just amazing, Bob. It's amazing. That's 15 years since that bottom, and wow, we're just, 15 years of easy money.
Now here's a different looking chart, Matt. This is the bonds. So don't think the one chart can't do what the other chart did.
Right. And again,
the bonds has been absolutely schmeezerized.
Yep.
Anyway, I know you're not trading. None of us are.
I don't see good news coming either, but that's doesn't.
And again, like you said, none of us are trading the quarterly chart. But if you don't understand that a 15-year cycle is broken, and nothing ports that out to me more than the bond chart.
Yes.
And believe me,
but the others aren't.
Right, exactly.
But the indices aren't. Yeah.
But believe me, you know who's paying a particular close attention to it? The pension funds and BlackRock, for sure.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's going to take a long time to reverse itself now, right? So
unwind, absolutely. At 15 years up.
Yeah.
And back to our conversation with the Benzinga boys, 15 years till we retake these highs. That's what I said. Now, I said a decade, 10 years till we retake the highs that we put in 2021.
Yeah.
A decade.
We'll see.
We'll see. What we will see is
I'm not as confident as you yet on that call. So I have a strange inkling we could even see 5,000 in the SPOs.
It's over. It's over. Let's have a drink.
What if there was world peace?
It doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with it. Wait a second. There is world peace. There's this people might throw something at me if you're saying that. By and large, we are living in the most peaceful time we ever have on this planet.
Uh-huh. Well,
the problem isn't war or peace.
2016 through 20.
You can't. How are you? By the way, how are you changing tack here? We need my brother Paul on here because he's been waiting for world calamity from this financial printing of money that they've accelerated recently.
I'm just a trader. I like looking
It's
at all
over.
sides.
That's all I'm telling you. It's over. It's over. You better start growing a garden.
We're just having a
All right.
discussion. We're having a discussion.
It's over. If you don't have seeds in your seed bank, you're done. All right. That's what I'm saying.
So if you're shooting blanks,
You better know how to grow a cucumber. That's all I'm saying.
cucumber doesn't really provide much nutrition. You could do better than that, Bob. Grow some cauliflower and broccoli.
And miner's lettuce. Check it out. If you are the gardening type, miner's lettuce grows anywhere, and a lot of nutrition in that little lettuce plant. Anyway, that's a story for the gardening section. All right, Matt, I think they're going to smeeze these towards the close. If they can't make a new low on the spoos, maybe
They did make a new low for the day in the bonds. So
there we go. Run for the hills.
And as we go into the close there. So again, not a new low, but just a new low for the day. And
it's over. It's over. Wish you were here.
Well, but so what are you saying? I'm just saying, if you haven't been short for a while, this last month was an awfully aggressive down month, right?
You know what? Aggressive, it begets more aggressiveness if the bucket truly has tipped.
Yeah, and we're just waiting for it to, though. It has not, I guess.
Hey, by the way, speaking of that, I saw like one of the number one trending things on Google yesterday was, should I sell?
Yeah, there you go.
Should I sell?
That's
should I stay?
That's
or should I go now?
And then I'm going to take you out with a little gardening at night.
I can't hear it.
But you don't have to play it on your end.
It's not coming through. Anyway.
Your gardening song reminded me of gardening at night. So your garden comments, rather. So little REM.
All right, Matt.
At night.
I'll see you in the garden. My garden is particularly.
I'll see you with a cucumber in your hand.
You get first dance. All right. Thank you very much.
Pass.
Let's not go there.
Hey,
Matt, remember.
I identify as a he. I will never.
Everything's a sex toy if you're brave enough, even if you're in the zucchini patch.
Just ask the ER nurses.
All right. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. New month, new quarter, new life. Take it easy.
New love.